And thank you, Nikhila Banga Shikshan Mahavidyalaya, for giving me this opportunity and this wonderful platform to share my view and my knowledge, during this time when we are all having so many webinars. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhim Mondal, the principal of the college, and Dr. Vidya Roy. Thank you so much, for giving me this invitation. Without taking much time, first let me just share my screen so that my topic is visible to you, and then I will go ahead from there. I hope my screen is visible to you. Yeah, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So, as Mr. Bhim Mondal also have said that in last 3 months, probably, we have seen so many webinars happening, across the world. Not only in India, this phenomenon is happening across the world. Sometimes we think that it's so many webinars happening in India and so many people are making, different comments also. But this is a phenomenon which is happening across the world and in large number. And this is what we get. This is one of the positive, outcome of this lockdown, right? So we are taking this situation as an opportunity to share knowledge at one platform. Now you can interact with people from everywhere in the world, just sitting at your home. So this is something new which has happened, and I'm sure this will go a long way in future also. Now, coming to the topic for my today's presentation, this is sports, exercise, and health, a positive assessment of lockdown impact. So what I'll be doing, in next 45 minutes, let me just put my timer. Okay. Yeah. What I'll be doing in next 45 minutes is, this is the outline. First, I will be discussing about exercise and immunity, in COVID-19. So this is something like everyone, when you are in the pandemic, in this coronavirus situation, we are all talking about immunity, and so and so. Even we are getting so many products nowadays, which they never claimed before that they are so helpful in developing immunity, but now they are claiming all the products that our product is so good in developing immunity. So immunity is, at the forefront, but I will discuss only from the point of view of exercise, and that too especially running. And then from there, I will, discuss how you can map out your activities during this lockdown, and what is the impact on us, in this lockdown, and how, our life will be impacted after the lockdown. So my special focus will be on education and on sports and exercise. Okay. And this is very, one of the statement which I found, which there was a recently, in maybe around 1 month back, probably, the meeting of, United Nations, and they said in that meeting, it was a unanimous, from all the member states, they said that post-coronavirus world will benefit from sport. And this is something, which is very important from all of us. And it's not only about this statement. Most of you have heard, yesterday, the government of India has launched new education policy, right? And now most of you have, most of us have read some of the, points from that policy, and which looks, if you look at just, the outline of that policy, it's quite impressive, and which promises, a better, future for all of us, right? And in terms of sports and physical education, if we see that the new education policy has laid more focus on sports, it has laid more focus on physical education, and focus on learning through sports. So this is something, again, which is very, important development which has happened. And in my past few seminars in last 1 month, I was constantly saying that something is going to come, in few months, which will definitely have a long-lasting impact on our life. Okay, now let's talk about running, immunity, and COVID-19. So first, I will answer a few questions. I am sure many of us who are involved in exercise, who are living an active life, they have these questions in their mind. And other than that also, if you have seen that in COVID-19, in this coronavirus, pandemic, we have seen that people, those who are immune, I mean, those who are actively involved in exercises, they are in better position to fight this, COVID-19, right? This is very clear, and that's why the governments across the world, organizations like WHO and IOC has already, they are laying, more focus on exercise and sports in coming days and maybe in coming years, right? So what actually happens when you exercise? Especially I'll be talking about, the running. When you do, running, and as we know that running or any other aerobic activity, especially, which is aerobic in nature, has a very good impact, not only on your physical and mental aspects of body, but also it affects your immunity, in long term. So there is a common perception, that endurance running improves lung capacity. So this is what feel that if you do a lot of running, if you do a lot of aerobics, it will improve your lung capacity. Is it true or not? Does it affect? Actually, if you look at scientifically, the total volume of your lungs is very much decided by genetic factors. I mean, you cannot change the volume of your lungs, but certainly regular running activity improves your other important factors. Like, for example, running actually enhances the strength of your inspiratory muscles. Your inspiratory muscles, they become stronger. And because of that, you are able to inhale more air into your lungs. So it's basically, your size of your lung does not increase, but it makes your lungs more efficient. So if you are involved in running or any aerobic type of activities, like if you see what, Vidya Roy is doing, is she also spreading so much of, like, through her, Zumba dance activities and other, yoga and other activities, which are generally aerobic in nature. They all help you to make your lungs more efficient. And when your lungs become more efficient, basically it improves your lung capacity. Okay. So this is one, misconception basically which we have. Now, second is, are runners more immune to viral respiratory infections? Those who are involved in running, are they less likely to develop such infections? Yes, it seems so. So they are less prone to all viral respiratory infections than if you compare with those who are inactive. So regular moderate activity, now I'm saying again here, regular moderate. It is very important for you to understand these two terms, continuity and the moderation. They're two important, factors for basically development of your immunity. If your activity is intense and prolonged, it can have a negative impact on your immunity in the short term. So when you do a regular moderate activity, basically any aerobic type activity, it reduces inflammation throughout your body, more specifically within your respiratory tract. It also helps to regulate the function of your immune system. So there is a very clear evidence to suggest that runners are more immune to respiratory viral infections like influenza and coronavirus, not COVID-19, because there is a coronavirus before also we have. So if you perform extremely high intensity exercise of more than 60 minutes, now here you have to pay attention. Like, I myself is a marathon runner and I can experience that. When you do a long distance running, basically at that moment in first few hours post exercise, actually, because of the increased number of, WBC cells in your body, your immune systems become weakened on that movement. So you have to be careful. If you are focusing on immunity, your exercise should be moderate and of low intensity. Okay. The next question is, are runners less likely to develop COVID-19? Now, many people are asking these questions also across the globe. So yes, because of the positive adaptations in endurance athletes, they are less likely to have severe complications. And I never stopped my running during this pandemic also. Whenever the regulations by the government allows me to go out and do exercise, I was there out and continue with my exercise. So further, because of the well-developed lung tissue in these runners, they are not impacted as badly as people who do not exercise. Okay, so yes, this is true. And then next question is, next is basically this pandemic has already raised a lot of questions regarding how exercise can protect us from infection by boosting our immunity. And this is becoming more pertinent as many of us have restricted access to the gyms. I'm sure that from next few days, in India also, the gyms and yoga centers are going to be open. This is a good news. Now people can, involve themselves in regular exercise. And there are well-known, we know that when anybody is isolated, anybody is confined, it has a negative effects, and basically the effects are on immunity. What happens when if you confine a person, like, in lockdown, basically we are isolated, in our houses, we are confined. So in such situation, there are elevated levels of glucocorticoids, and which is like, cortisol. So they increased in your blood, and these cortisols can inhibit many critical functions of our immune system. And that's why, in this pandemic, it's very, very important for us to keep us like, away from the stress, because that can negatively affect your immune system. And if your immune system is weakened, of course, you will be more prone to getting infection from the coronavirus. What happened basically when you are stressed, the ability of our T cells to multiply in response to this infectious agent is reduced. Okay, and this is what happens when you take a stress, whether that stress can be because of your psychological or your state of mind, or it is because of the isolation or confinement, or because of the lack of exercise. So it is also important that our immune cells maintain their ability to redeploy so that they may patrol the vulnerable areas in our body to prevent viruses from gaining a foothold. And each bout of exercise, when you do exercise, that's why we say that exercise is one of the best stress, booster. So if you exercise, basically you relieve your stress. And what happened? Instantly, exercise basically mobilize literally billions of immune cells, especially those cells which are capable of recognizing and killing of virus-infected cells. So it's very, very important, and that's why I always say, whenever anyone asks me, and even a student here in my university where we have a lot of stress, because of the academics and all, I always tell my students, come, whenever you are frustrated, you are down, you are because of your academic performance, anything happen, don't just go and sit alone, or confine yourself, in a room. Just come out, come to the sports field, go to the football court, go to the basketball court, go to badminton court, release your anger, release your frustration, on the ball, on the racket, or on any like sports. So because when you exercising for those 30 minutes, basically you relieve yourself, you release your stress, and your state of mind changes basically. So you alter your present situation. Otherwise, if you continue in the same state of mind, you may be taking decision which will not be good for you in future. So exercise is the best way to release your stress. Okay, so although there is no scientific data regarding the effect of exercise on coronavirus, when we're talking about coronavirus, still of course there are some studies have already been done, but still the most of the studies have to be validated. But still there is enough evidence that exercise can protect us from many other viral infections, as I said before, like influenza and rhinovirus and herpesviruses. So we can assume that, of course, exercise will have a positive impact, on the coronavirus infections also. While exercise may not prevent us from becoming infected, but if we are exposed, it is likely that keeping active will boost our immune system, as I said, and it will help to minimize the effects of the virus. It will relieve our symptoms, expedite our recovery times, and lower the likelihood that we can infect others with whom we come into contact. So these are the possibilities. If you are exercise, this is how you can prevent yourself and you can fight the virus in a better way. And because of this understanding, I will be discussing, in just coming slides, why IOC and WHO has already signed an agreement. And this is a very significant that International Olympic Committee and World Health Organization, they have signed an agreement to make sure that sports is part of, their future endeavors. Now let's come to the next part of my presentation, which is more like known to us, which is like COVID-19 and lockdown. So these two words are very common. Like, everywhere in the world, we are saying the words lockdown, now lockdown, then unlockdown, and so on. So, and there are so many things going on. People are taking unnecessary, undue stress also. of course, there is a stress, but many times we are taking an undue stress. But we have to understand that whether it's a COVID-19 or lockdown, nothing lasts forever. So you have to understand that, that concept that nothing is, and this is not something, okay, this is unusual thing, but it's not something that which you should not expect it to happen. Many things, unexpected things have happened in the past also, as long as there's a existence of human history, and it will be there in future also. So these things are part and parcel of the human existence. And what we have understood since human existence is that nothing lasts forever, and these too shall pass. So why worry? Why are you worrying about that? Just you have to take the required precautions, whatever has been advised to you by time to time from different agencies. So and this is just for a time being. Now this time being can be 6 months, this can be 1 year, but still it's a time being. This is not a very long time, and this is not something which is going to stay forever. So this pandemic will itself be out in some time, and we can see that now. It's like phasing out. It has its intensity and its mortality is reduced. In last few months, right? As many of us are saying that, many experts are saying that we will be developing an immunity over a period of time. And of course, medicines are there and new medicines will come and vaccines will be out very soon. And once vaccines will be out, then there is, the life will become normal. So we have to understand that this is just a temporary phase, and don't overburden yourself, with the effect or impact or thinking about the COVID-19 and lockdown. Rather, you can think what positives you can get from the lockdown, how you can, play this, for your, according for your own strength, not for your weaknesses, right? And if you see this picture, I like that picture very much. Many people are saying, in this COVID-19, we are isolated, we don't, we cannot go out, and so many things, there's so many, negative things. But if you see this picture, isn't it very pleasing and worth mentioning? Now, if you are, of course, now lockdown is, people have started to work, but still many people are still at home, So this is a good time for the families. Now the people have more time. You can give more time to your family, you can give more time to your kids, right? So this is one of the biggest positive what we have seen, from this lockdown. Do you think that before March or before February there was nothing negative in our lives? Our lives were running very smoothly? Can you say that? No, it is not like that. That time also we were under stress. I think we were more under stress. Of course, in this coronavirus, I'm not saying that everybody is having a positive things. There are many people, if we talk about from the financial point of view, there are many people whose livelihood have been affected by this coronavirus. Of course, that's a different aspect which I'm not talking here now. But the point is what positive we can take. And so there are many people who are having a positive, having a positive impact on their life because of this coronavirus. And this is one thing. And this also thing, of course, we know that the old people are suffered more by this, pandemic, but at the same time, now they are getting more time from their families, right? Everybody is at home and now they are happy, the old people, they are there, the old, our grandparents and parents in our home, they are happy because now people are around them, so because everybody is at home. So these are the good things which are happening and which we should, keep in mind. And this is something, maybe this is one of you. This is what many of us are doing. I am involved. I don't know. For me, if you ask me, April, May, June, now July, now I'm April, May, June, July, 4 months. I don't know how these 4 months have passed. My entire vacation has gone. So I was so engaged. And it's not only me. Many of us are so engaged in this 4 months that, because since we are at home, so we found so much of time to regroup ourselves and find what are our strengths, and we worked hard more during this pandemic, especially in terms of the education in our academics. So this is what you got, from the pandemic, right? Now, what we can do to survive, basically, that's important. So first of all, we have to accept the lockdown, and the main thing is that we have to keep ourselves occupied. That is very important. If you are just always in a negative frame of mind and you are not doing anything, You are just waking up and sleeping, wake up and sleeping and eating food. That's okay. That's your outlook. But what you have to do is, since you have a lot of time, so you have to keep yourself occupied in a constructive way. So there is nothing wrong in that, So what you could have done that easily, very easily, if you have not done, in last 4 months. Still, you have a time. Still, you have a lot of times, before your schools and colleges open again. So this was a time where you could have diversified yourself, where you could have equipped yourself with more knowledge, with more courses. And I'm sure many of us and many of you have done that by attending webinars. And if you ask me personally also, I have done more than 12 certificate courses, during this last 4 months. And some of the courses are like, most of the courses are offered by my university. It is like some sort of like, diversifying the faculties. And that's what the new education policy also is saying. The new education policy want us to diversify. In this new education policy, it states that if I am studying accounts, I can study physics also. If I'm studying, physics, I can study, the sociology also. So that's the freedom has given, this new education policy has given, and that is what the world is looking for. Even in my university here now, our university wants all the faculty members to diversify their portfolios. So they want like collaborations from different departments. In the physics department, they want somebody from the maths. In physics department, they want somebody from the chemistry or something like that, so that you can have an interdepartmental relationship. And when somebody from other background comes, he gives totally a new dimension to your subject and your outlook. So the world is now changing, and the world is changing largely because of the coronavirus. So we have to diversify ourselves. If you are from physical education, for example, I'm sure most of the people who are listening to me are from the physician background. So don't restrict yourself just, okay, I have to only learn about physical education and sports. No, you have to, equip yourself with something more which is around you. Then only you can leave a long-lasting impact on the life of the people. Like, for example, I don't want to mention many, but I did many courses like in cyber security, in business skills, soft skills, and many like artificial intelligence. I took a certificate course from my university, in AI. So there are things which will help you to improve your own profession. So now the things are changing, and new education policy, I'm sure in next 1 week, when we are going to read more in detail, you will understand that, you have to, basically diversify, yourself, so that you are in a better place. And that's why we say that this is a new normal now. What we are having is, this is a new normal. Okay, so accept it. So before also we'll say when the normal will come. This is again a normal. There is nothing abnormal. It just, something have changed. Before also life was not normal, right? If you compare your life, from 2018 to 2019, things have changed. If you compare from 2017, 2016, 2019 is different, right? So every year is different. Every day is different. Every day brings you always a challenge. So don't take it, think as something abnormal happened. It's all your state of mind. If your state of mind is to look out for the positives, you will get positive. If your state of mind is to look out at negatives, you will see things, in that way, right? So what you can do is basically, still, if you're in lockdown and you're worried that still you cannot go out and exercise, very simple thing, just take out a A4 size paper. I always say that whatever you do, just write it down, pen it down on the paper. Even like when I do all my activities, believe me, for last so many years, I have a diary which is now full. Every day I come, if whatever you do, even if I walk 30 minutes, I come and say, okay, today is 30th of July. I did 30 minutes walking, 5 kilometers, for example, whatever distance it is. So I write down, whatever I do, I write down on paper, so that I can look back and it gives me a required motivation. So take out a piece of paper and just, map out what you will be doing in the 12 hours in a day, basically. So like, you can always have few activities. You can still, whether you are indoor, you are outdoor, or you are in lockdown or not in lockdown, everybody can still do exercise. Exercise just needs, a space equal to the space required for you to stand. If you can stand, on a surface, you can exercise. If you can sit on a surface, you can exercise. You don't need a very big surface. So what I mean to say is, Even if there are limitations, still you can exercise in your house. If you can go out, you can go to the park. If you cannot go out, you can do exercises in your home. So you can start your day, with 45 minutes of exercise, then have a creative time in your day. Like, it's very important. You can find different ways, like as I mentioned here, the crafting, art, writing a journal, writing a paper, and all many things. You can do that. You can if you have a small garden, you can do the gardening. It's very good way to keep yourself engaged. Even if you have a terrace garden or you have small pots, still you can engage yourself by looking at that plant which is growing every day, right? You can have the video chats, what we are doing. The self-care is very important. So this is a time for you to care for yourself. So you have enough time. So this pandemic has given you so many opportunities which otherwise you don't have, that much time. So you can devote more time on your self-care, basically, and then you can have a family activities. So do, a family group activities, which basically can, help the every member in this, in your family. And be vigilant about the screen time. This is very important. So because normally we are in front of the screen most of the time, so see that how you can stay away from the screen, and find the ways for that. So it's very important to be vigilant about the screen time. And whatever you're doing, basically, at the end of the day, what activities you're doing, just tick all the activities. Okay, I have done this, I have done that. And then you will see that you will find some, like, every day will find you have some routine, and you will be able to, like, spend your day in a more constructive and more meaningful way. So this is how you can spend your day, basically, and there can be many more ways. This is, I just given some examples. So you can get, many more ways. Now, what are the takeaways from the lockdown, basically? We can list so many negatives. If you want, you can leave so many negatives. It's all about your perceptions. I'm not going to talk about negatives here. I'll be talking only about positive, because I want to spread, the positive vibes, basically. And this, what I'm listing here, I think most of you will agree that also, that because of this lockdown, because of this, the new normal, what we can say is having, there's a less pollution, right? And this is observed everywhere in every part of the world. We have observed that the less pollution. So isn't it something very important happened to us, to our life? So we are less exposed to the traffic in last 4 months. So less exposure to traffic means less number of road accidents. If you see the number of deaths, in India, when we talk about India, the last year, there are around 161,000 deaths because of the road accidents. Just, in 1 year, 161,000 deaths. So we have avoided so many road accidents during these 4 months. So we saved lives, right? Of course, we lost life because of coronavirus. But at the same time, we have saved so many lives also because of other things. And even because of the pollution, it's not only road accidents. So many people die because of the pollution, which results from, these industries and the traffic. So that also, we are able to save lives at the same time. Okay, our food habits might have changed, isn't it? Many of us, because you are not going to restaurants for last 3-4 months, you're not going to eat, outside. You are basically in your home, and I'm sure most of you are taking, good food at your home. So your food habits might have changed during this time, and who knows that those habits, even if out of 10, if one person habit has changed and he can carry forward with that habit for the rest of life, the purpose is solved. So this is another important thing which has happened during this pandemic, right? And we are more closer to our culture, right? Isn't it? So I have seen so many videos. I have talked to so many people. So we have seen that people have become more closer to the culture. Even in Europe, if you see, people in Europe, like, they have a culture of, like, okay, this is my life. I will live my life alone. So they are not bothered. So once they are grown up, they just leave their parents and stay alone, individual approach like that. But now they have realized, I have seen people, I have read texts, I've talked to many people, they have realized that life is not about living alone. It's about taking care of each other. So there's a cultural shift, basically around the world, because of this, pandemic. So we now want to stay together. We want to take care of each other. And one more important thing, it's not that we have to teach you this thing. Basically, because of this isolation and confinement, which actually leads to the stress, many of us have learned how to deal with this stress. So you have learned yourself how to tackle this situation. So many of us have even learned these new skills and how you can deal in such situation. So this is another good thing which has happened during this lockdown. And the last one, which is very common, is not only with the kids, also many of this like us, the males especially, they are doing cooking at home. We have seen so many things like this, especially on social media. And even the kids, if you look, my son, no, he is doing little bit cooking and all. It's okay. It's not about that. It is so important, but he learned something new, which definitely is going to affect him, in later part of his life. So he will be able to sustain, himself, or herself better, when he is alone. So this is something good. Like if you take the positive, so many positives have happened in my son, in my child. I can always give example of myself. Because that's what happened with me. And if something happens with me, I'm sure I'm not someone like who has isolated experiences. Maybe many people have also experienced the same thing. So my son has experienced so many, and he has learned so many new things, because of this coronavirus, which otherwise he wouldn't be doing that. So this is, like, you can ask me, a takeaway from this lockdown basically. Now we have more time for the families. The bonding with the families have improved. Okay, there is more connection. People want to talk to each other. People want to stay together, and we have become more creative, right? We have become more creative. Even my son, like I give example of my son's school, when of course now they're in vacation, but when the school was there, so they have celebrated the annual sports day virtually. Yes, there is a group of 4 schools, and they have organized the annual sports day, virtually, literally virtually they organize, and they're organized in a very effective way. So, and we also learned how we can, quickly and swiftly change our gear from one mode to another mode. Like, many of us seen, even I have seen personally in my university also, that as soon as the lockdown is announced, on 9th March, it was announced that university is going to close from tomorrow. On 10th March, there is the only 1-day gap that we got time, that this is a day for you, 10th March, regroup yourself, redesign your strategy, your policies, your curriculum. And on 11th March, we are into a full-fledged virtual mode of learning. So within just 24 hours, you can say that we shift our gear from the physical learning to the virtual learning, and that too in a very effective way. So some of us have learned, how many people in my department, my place also, like if they are not well versed in computers and all, now they are, they have, they learn those skills and they equip themselves, because you have to give the online learning to the students, and there is no running away from that. So these are like the new learning experiences for all of us, especially for the academic, those who are in academics basically. So we have learned new things. We learn how to adapt quickly to the situation, and this is going to help us in future, in a very good way. Our confidence level has increased, isn't it? Many of us, if you see, your confidence level must have increased because of many things. What you're doing basically in this coronavirus, especially in the education sector, and we learn how to manage things, living with the minimum resources. That's what we have learned. And these webinars, as I said before, also webinars are something which is one of the most important thing happening basically in the academic fraternity. And this, I always think these webinars as a very positive outcome, and which I feel that every college should organize these webinars. It does not cost you much. Okay, just you have to acquire this platform, maybe the WebEx or Zoom or whatever you have. Okay, so this is something which is very, very important. And the creation and sharing of knowledge, new ideas, these are things which are takeaway from this lockdown. Now, the last part is, after lockdown, what will happen? Especially on the education sector, especially on the sports, and academics, what is going to happen after the lockdown? How the life will be changed after the lockdown? Now, you see, after lockdown, more emphasis will be on the health. I am sure, and everybody is sure, that more emphasis will be on the health and education at the same time. So spending in the health sector and spending in the education sector will increase. And we have seen that when I was reading this document of the new education policy, of course, even the name of the ministry has changed, but the name is also important now. It is not called HRD ministry. HRD looks like, something related with a business or company or industry. Now it's an education ministry. Okay, the name has changed, and which is a very relevant name. At the same time, if I'm seeing in the document that the government has decided to increase the spending on the education. I think from the 3.4% of the GDP, now they're going to spend 6% of the GDP, in the coming time. So this is again, very, very, important, development in terms of the education, especially when we talk about India. Okay. So now after lockdown, I will be discussing these 4-5 points which I mentioned on the screen. I will be talking about that more importance will be given to the sports. I will be discussing about the statement given by IOC and WHO, the statement from the European, Physical Education Association, and the sports culture in the schools and colleges. This is going to happen, and I have given some good, some lectures in the past about how we can develop the sports culture, especially in the higher education, in the colleges and universities, and how this development of the sports culture can help basically, to have a healthy and active lifestyle. So the sports minister statement also will discuss the fitness centers, fitness awareness, and the parent attitude towards sports may change. And this is again very important, because the last line, we all want that there should be, everybody should play sports and involve yourself in physical education, but still the attitude of the parent is very important. So I'm sure the attitude of parents, after this pandemic is over, once we again resume the activities, the normal activities, you see that there will be shift in the attitude of parent and the attitude of society in large, towards the sports, and which is everybody who's in this profession, that's why I said you should gear up yourself. You should, and that's why when I was giving one lecture some last week on the modern trends in sports and physical education, I emphasized that now all physical educationists, you have to equip yourself. Don't keep yourself down and low. Come up, and learn new things, equip yourself. You have to come up to the level of others. If you don't come up to that level, you are not going to improve. So the improvement in sports and physical education will come only when improvement come in yourself. When the physical education teacher or the professionals who are involved in this profession, when they improve themselves, then only the profession will improve. So first you have to improve yourself, improve your knowledge, equip yourself with, and as I said, diversify yourself so that you can create a level playing field wherever you are. Okay. Now this is one of the position statement which was given last month by the European Physical Education Association, and especially during this COVID-19, and they said, of course it was a one-page statement, I'm just quoting their main line. They said that no education without physical education. Very significant, right? So it's not only in India, the world, everywhere, the people now, they are giving more importance to physical education. So post pandemic, after lockdown, this is what we are going to see change. They are saying that there is no education without physical education. So physical education will be given more importance. It will be part of their lives, basically part of the curriculums in coming years. And that's why we said we have to gear ourselves to meet this requirement. And when this comes, it's only we physical education teachers who have to perform, who have to show, and who have to deliver the best, so that we can prove that yes, there is no education without physical education. And many of us have heard this statement on various platforms by our sports minister, Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. And this is, I think most of us know, but still, if you're not knowing that, he has said in one of the interviews that sports is not an extracurricular activity. It is a part of the curriculum. It is not extracurricular activity. It is a part of the curriculum. And with new education policy, I am sure if I read somewhere, they have laid emphasis on the sports, as a part of the curriculum. So these are the things which again going to change the outlook of physical education and sports after this pandemic. And this everything has happened because of this pandemic, because the people have realized, in these 4 months, how important is your health, and to stay healthy, how important is your active lifestyle, how important is sports and exercise. And that's what IOC also think. The International Olympic Committee, its president Thomas Bach, last month he urged all the governments to include sport, in their plans for once distinctions are lifted. And he made the comments after the IOC and the World Health Organization. So IOC and WHO have signed an agreement to work together, and the statement was promote health through sports and physical activity. It's a big statement given by IOC. We know that IOC is a premier body, manages sports, right? International Olympic Committee, and WHO is a premier body for the health. So when these two premier bodies, they come together and they have decided that now we have to promote the health through sports and physical activity, I am sure all other things will fall in line, right? So there's a big responsibility coming on all of us. So further, IOC, what its president has said, he said that over the last few months in the current crisis, we all have seen how important sports and physical activity are for physical and mental health. And he said that sports can save lives. Very important line, right? That sports can save, yes, the sports can save lives. So people will realize, in coming days, and it's not only IOC, I have seen the statements from the International Athletic Federation and other, other bodies of sports, that they are now emphasizing. Already talks are on, at various levels in different countries to integrate sports, and the curriculum. And IOC has called, IOC calls on the governments of the world to include sport in their post-crisis support programs because of the important role sport in the prevention of NCDs. So we all know that sports play important role in prevention of non-communicable diseases. But the important thing is now they are saying that it can also play an important role in prevention of communicable diseases like the coronavirus. So this is a new development which is happening. And this is what we have said. Just moving quickly, I have 5 minutes more. And this is again, in United Nations, what they said on the sports. So now what UN has said that, I'm reading a statement, recognizing the power of sport in advancing society, 118 member states of the United Nations have called for all states to include sports and physical activity in their recovery plans. So it means the post-COVID recovery plan, the sports and physical activity will be at prominent place. And they ask all these member states, they have asked to integrate sports and physical activity into national strategies for sustainable development. So this is what the world is thinking now, post-COVID, that what will happen after lockdown. They are emphasizing that they want the governments to integrate sports and physical activity into their national strategies for sustainable development. So it means if you want to have a sustainable development, you have to integrate sports and physical activity into your plans. Okay, and this is very, very important civic statements. Even the sports ministers of the 27 EU members, they also have adopted these conclusions in which they underline the importance of the role of sport for societies during the COVID-19 crisis. So all the European members, basically the 27 countries, they already understood how important is the role of sports in our society during this COVID-19 crisis. So this is something very, very important development which has happened. And I'm sure after lockdown, just in 2-3 minutes, I will summarize. After lockdown, what will happen basically? It's time to reprioritize what matters in relationships. So this is what we are going to see changes. Other than the sports in our society, what we'll be seeing, what changes we'll be seeing. The first is there will be a priority in terms of the relationships, right? We will look it in a different way. the value of face-to-face interaction, this will be increased, and people will understand how important it is to have this face-to-face interaction. And as I said before, a cultural shift is expected. A cultural shift is expected, after COVID-19. Okay, then improved health and well-being. People are enjoying much more me time. Just it's like me time and getting to do things they never normally have the time to do. So high on the list are spending time with family, exercising, spending me time in the house, and so much more. After lockdown, flexible working hour. We may be seeing that flexible working hour. And if you see the education policy also, I was so impressed with that policy. That policy, like the system is now that you can exit and you can enter, from it any time. Suppose you started doing your graduation and you finish your after 1 year, you exit from there, you will get one certificate. If you finish after 2 years, you exit from 2 years, you get diploma certificate. If you exit after 3 years or 4 years, I'm not sure the exact numbers, then only you will get degree certificate. Because the flexibility is offering. The flexibility is already offered, in terms of the education in the new policy, and this is what we are going to benefit, in our working also. And there will be long distance collaborations, of course, because of the technology and because of what we have, now understood and we have experienced in this for 4 months. So we will be having a long distance collaborations, with people. Like I can collaborate with you, right, sitting from here. I don't have to come to Bengal to collaborate with you for doing any research or doing lectures. So we can have a long distance collaborations, with ease and with least expenses, right? Sustainability is very important, which we'll see in future. Change, in how we use technology. This will perceive in a different way. And the reduced overheads. I'm sure organizations, maybe, they will say we don't need an office space. Why you need office space? You can work from the home. And for certain things, you can just, we will have a mobile or, agile zones basically. So where, you can collaborate with your colleagues more, like moving, no need for just, like working from a very specific and restricted, an office space. So this is what basically we are going to get, once the lockdown is over. And so with this, I would like to conclude my talk here. And I'm sure that, you all have understood many things, and I'm sure that you all will gain from this lockdown, and you will improve yourself, improve your knowledge, equip yourself with the required skills, so that you are in a better position to be placed, to place yourself, in the new situations. And again, I'm saying to all professionals from physical education and sports, please equip yourself, learn as much as yourself. So once it's only your performance will decide where will you take the profession. Your profession will go ahead only if your performance will improve. If your performance will not improve, you're not able to, meet the standards which are required, So you have to come. When we talk about that, we want equality and we want to stand, at the same level. For that, you also have to perform in the same way. So your performance will count. Your performance will only come when you learn and learn and learn. So that's very important. And learning is something which is my final, if you see this pandemic, what I understood, what I personally experienced also, that learning is so important. And we have learned so much during this pandemic. So with this, I rest my talk here, and I give my sincere thanks to the organizers for giving me this time to share my knowledge. Thank you so much, and over to you, Vidya, for further questions.